You ready for your final mission? We're gonna put everything together here. We're at the track. We're gonna use the straightaways to work on part A and part B with momentum and propulsion with the muscles. We're gonna use the turns to reflect and think about what we did. This is meant to be as an audio only, where I'm with you doing this at the same time, and or you can watch it, or both. So kind of follow my lead. We're gonna be putting everything together. I'm at my first straightaway. On this straightaway here, we're gonna work on part A, the lean. When it comes to the other straightaway, that's where we're gonna work on the propulsion or the muscle component. All right, so I'm here, I'm straight ahead. You know what we gotta do. Handsaw ankle, elbows, knees, lean, handsaw, release and relax, and land with the left. And so from here, I'm working on the lean. I'm not going too fast. I'm still looking at the target straight ahead. And I'm feeling like my weight is slightly shifted forward. My arms are synced up with my legs. It's like I'm riding a Segway, leaning forward, having my hips go forward, not let my shoulders go out in front of my hips. And I'm trying to see how relaxed can I get. Now we're on the curve. Let's walk, let's reflect. So remember, the main part of part A is all about maintaining your momentum. It's all about that lean. Where are we leaning from? The ankles, hinging at the ankles, the hankle. And right now while I'm walking, I can kind of think about that too. Trying to pick up some speed and having that slight lean. Here I can work on my shoulders, my arms being relaxed, but also synced up with the legs. So coming up in this next straightaway, we're gonna focus on the propulsion, part B of the gliding, extending at the hip, pushing back. So we're gonna do a stopping point because we're each time at the straightaway gonna reset. Look straight ahead, something eye level in the distance. And we're gonna still do the same starting point, but our focus is gonna be on the pushing the ground backwards. Handsaw ankle, elbow, knees, ankle, handsaw, release, and land left. So think about having some patience, making sure that your feet and your ankles are relatively relaxed. You're allowing your body to move forward over your foot that's on the ground, and you're pushing the ground purely backwards. Think about rolling the world back. You should see off in the distance, there's not too much up and down movement. I'm thinking about that low ceiling. All right, walk it out on the turn. So again, we can only think about one thing at a time, and my goal for you is to eventually not have to think about anything at all. But we're thinking now, so we don't have to think later. Hopefully it's cooler where you're at. It's 100 degrees here. And I've got all my gear on, but whatever helps the visual experience. So again, reflecting. How did that go? How did I feel like that went? Don't worry about your speed. Don't worry about your pace. That all will come. This is merely technique. And what you'll notice is the slower you go, the technique is harder. There's more finesse. The momentum is helping you less, and it requires a little bit more skill. So coming up now, we got our straightaway again. And again, we're gonna work on just the lean at this component. Then we'll walk, and then we'll focus on the propulsion again. Okay. At my starting position, shake it out, get loose. Elbows, knees, ankles, handsaw, release, and land left. Again, our focus is on the lean. Seeing how relaxed can I get my body? How can I maintain the same speed that I'm at with doing less work? Having that slight lean to feel like you're constantly falling forward. but keeping the ship stacked, shoulders over your hips. Okay, let's walk. Some other points of feedback that we can get is the sound. How loud does it sound when you're hitting the ground? If we're braking, or not gliding, not leaning at the ankles, it will sound louder. Why? Because we're braking, we're slowing down, because we're landing and loading in front of our body. Same with the propulsion piece. If we're jumping, leaving the ground and going up in the air higher than our height and landing to the ground, it's also going to sound louder. So ideally we should see the faster that you go, there's a correlation with it sounding louder as you hit the ground to create more force. But what we don't want is that louder force, louder sound at slower paces and slower speeds. Okay, we're coming up to the second straightaway. We're going to focus solely on the propulsion, and then we'll put everything together. All right, straight ahead, eye level. Imagine that low ceiling, handsaw, hankle, elbows, knees, hankle, handsaw, land left. Now we're focusing on the propulsion. Feel like you're gliding. It's called gliding for a reason. Feeling like you're smooth, moving horizontal. Arms are synced with the legs, forward and back, pushing the ground backwards. We're thinking about leaving the ground, not on landing. That's so important. Okay. We're almost there. And feel free to do as many of these laps as you want, focusing. But third time's a charm. Now in the straightaways, we're going to try to not think, but feel. How does it feel? We're going to try to get the same feeling. Battery's going down. So we're trying not to think, but feel. What did it feel like when you were gliding? Effortless, skimming the ground, less work, less exertion. We're going to focus on that and thinking with our body and not thinking with our mind. The more we can do this, the more we can automate it and start to enjoy the runs of just clearing your head, thinking about anything but your mechanics. Again, think now so you don't have to think later, but we got to think at some point. Okay, so we've got 2 laps down, we got 1 lap to go. We're coming up on our straightaway, and now we're not going to think. Again, it's our body, it's our feeling. We're still going to run through that same starting setup. It's becoming subconscious at this point. Take a breath. Breathe in and slow out. Look straight ahead. Handsaw, hankle, should be automatic. Handsaw, release, and land left. I'm just focusing on keeping my body relaxed. Can I feel like maybe I increase my lean more? Maybe I correlate that with pushing the ground further back with more force and at a faster rate or speed. Okay, we're getting there. There'll be a bonus section after this where you can video yourself, or we can do a session together. You video, you send it to me, we go over it. Just to validate those 2 criteria of the 1230 posture for part A and of the part B, the gliding, the propulsion piece. When you're at peak vertical, highest point, that back toe is still on the ground. And that tells us when you go to leave the ground, you're moving purely horizontal, not up and forward and bounding. So hopefully you'll start to get the idea of no matter what speed you're at, it's more like a dial. You're just merely increasing the effort or decreasing the effort, meaning the 3 F's, the force, how further, pushing the ground further, more force, and at a faster rate. And then naturally our lean will start to get greater too as we go faster. All right, final straightaway, here we go. Push with a tush, hankle baby, we're almost there. Establish our target, relax, another breath. All right, handsaw, ankle, here we go. Elbows, knees, ankle, handsaw, land left. Focusing on having your body move horizontal, relaxed. My feet are staying relatively close to the ground at this pace. My arms are like a handsaw, forward and back, syncing up. Seeing how relaxed can I keep my body and keep this pace up. Okay. How did it feel? Reflect. Let's use this last turn to reflect. Questions to ask yourself. Do you feel like you got it? If you feel like you're not quite sure that you're doing it right, that's where you need that feedback in the form of visual. Have that mind-body connection. That's where I'd recommend videoing yourself in slow motion, and I can show you how to go over it yourself, or we can do it together. But the more that you can connect the feeling of what you feel and what you see, that's what we're going to be able to understand this stuff. That's how I've learned hundreds of times, videoing myself over and over and over. And I had all the knowledge of physical therapy and the doctorate and exercise science bachelor's, and I still didn't know how to apply it until I started continuously videoing myself. So I tried to make this as quick and be able to upload this information and transfer these skills as quickly as possible to you, but understanding this took me years. So if you have to repeat some days, some times, that's okay. I'm here to help. So that's it. Hopefully you feel a lot better after going through these 7 skills, these 7 components. We're gliding 2 parts, the momentum and the muscles. Hopefully that's second nature to you by now. You're starting to move at a subconscious level where you can just automatically put the pieces together and just move. And feel free to use this as a warm-up. Use this as a, come out here before you run, go through some of these drills that we did. Go through the lean, go through the walking, running, the push with the tush, all that kind of stuff as a warm-up. But feel free to always come back to this if you feel like you've lost some of your fine-tuning. But I want to thank you so much for taking this time to invest in you and yourself, thinking big picture, long-term, running smarter, safer, and faster, and more efficient. Thanks for being here, and I hope to see you in the future.